following program is intended for mature audiences.
It's the music, movies, and shows you love.
As if we care.
And hate.
You ain't gonna like it none.
And love to hate.
I didn't expect that at all.
This is The Broken Remote.
And coming to you live on tape on this Wednesday, August 16th, in the year 2023. Will the Thrill and Etoile back at it again in the saddle, where I gotta admit, Will, I let you down last podcast because...
See, here's the thing. I thought we were off last podcast because we were participating in the strike, but I guess that's just me. Yeah.
No. We were not participating in the strike.
Damn it.
Your good friend here, sitting behind the microphone, decided that because I had a little bit of back pain for the second time in the history of our podcast, I decided, you know what, I'm going to dabble in some alternative pain medication. And sure enough, it was too much. I once again took a gummy. I thought it was...
took a gummy.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And I once again thought I had figured out the good dosage. Mm-hmm. And then halfway through...
I was going to say 1 hour later.
Oh, dude. We were in the... and I knew it, and it wasn't until I listened back to the podcast, it was like... I was having thoughts, and then all of a sudden I stopped and I said, oh, shit, I have no clue what the fuck I was talking about. And then I just had a beeline out and just punch out, and it just fucking didn't sound well in certain spots. It was just no fault to you, just me acting like a juvenile fucking 20-year-old college
Dude,
guy.
That just makes it better. Are you
partying,
kidding?
Just trying to tear up the scene. But I'm home. I got fucking kids and shit, bills, mortgages. I can't be doing that. But so anytime that you listen to the last episode and you're like, wow, he just kind of completely jumped train of thought. Yeah, well,
I enjoyed the last one too. I'm trying to remember.
I thought it was good too. There was
about.
just it was indie. It was a whole bunch of other shit.
But, we did it. We covered like it's like every podcast. We have like 8 different topics that we just sort of segue through at our own leisure.
Yeah.
And we'll title the episode on one thing. In reality, what we talked about was completely unrelated. But
yeah, it was funny because, I mean, it wasn't as bad as I had thought it was going to sound, but it was, my mind was working in fucking overdrive because it just couldn't keep together thoughts and trains of thoughts, and there were just too many times that I was like, oh my God, what the hell were we just talking about? Let's work backwards. Will's still talking. I can't do it. Oh, that's fucking it.
That's so much better than me, though. When that happens to me, I just get like that nice door I have shut in my brain with all that anxiety behind it. It's just
like every American right now.
Let's just crack that open and you just go, oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, that is like the most overused thing now. The amount of people that will like legitimately say, I have an anxiety disorder. I'm like,
dude, everybody's got something. Everybody's got something. It's fucking nuts.
It's to be special, man. It's to be special. I have this problem. It's like, I think everybody has it. It's just,
So let's
maybe manage differently.
Maybe. Let's go back in time. Do you think, because so now Will and I have a little bit of an age difference here, but in both of our lives,
I'm 80 and running for president,
and I'm 22, and I'm just a strapping young buck. So, but I know for a fact that growing up, look, everybody had issues. Not everybody was perfect. But, God, you just didn't hear about it. It was just kind of like, look, everybody's life at some point is probably pretty shitty, and you deal with something that is tough. But you didn't hear about it. There weren't 8 million drugs for it. There wasn't a pill for this. There wasn't a pill for that. You're just kind of like, deal with it. And the only thing that was kind of like known of was like divorces, right? Divorces were things that like just couldn't be, oh yeah, their parents are divorced. Oh yeah, okay, all right. Then you know.
Well, now when your parents are getting divorced, you're mandatorily required to have a $60,000 retainer for your child's therapy as they're going through it to make sure that they can work these feelings through. The amount of BetterHelp commercials that I see on a daily basis with the most insufferable people on them, dude.
And that's what we should have done, because that field right now is just fucking...
Yeah, I mean, actually, now that you're saying it, yeah, this MBA I just got may be useless. Yeah.
Big mistake, dude. You should have gotten into like that therapy.
Should go to therapy.
Yeah.
Just find one girl with blue hair and just know that she's going to pay my mortgage by herself.
A lot of colored hair in the
Her
2023.
parents. I don't get it. I'm totally with you. We're
It's on
When
like
I
a
was in high
5-year
school-
run, though.
Yeah,
There was
when I was in
always a
high
little
school-
bit of colored hair, but not like this.
Oh no, now it's everywhere, dude. Yeah, just like you can look at a person's hair now and you can know exactly what they think on every single subject along with their diet. Like, oh, they're vegan. Just know everything
Right, well,
you ever needed to.
It reminds me
I
of
know
like
their
real life
relationship with their
trolls.
dad.
Right? You remember the Trolls
Ooh,
dolls?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they all had crazy hair up top and all colored. And now that's just people. We're like human beings are just trolls.
Well,
In
some
more
girl
ways than
named-
one, right? Because
some girl
they
named
fucking
Jeff
are trolls.
who majored in women gender studies in college, and she's going to tell you a lot about it. And she'll like approach you at a party with your friend Mike, and you're like, "Hey, so what do you do for a living?" She's like, "What do I do? I work for a nonprofit." And you just got trapped in a 40-minute conversation where she's going to accuse you of not respecting whales or something.
Yeah, you're just trying to find
This may have happened to me.
trying to find that back door to get the hell out.
You're like, hey, can someone help? And your friend's like, have fun with Rachel.
You got stuck, fucker.
Yeah,
No juice, no soup for you.
yeah, no soup for you. It is.
Go.
It's bananas. It's bananas. I got nothing else to really add on it besides like just. I feel like it wasn't my generation. Besides, everyone was like starting to do Adderall when I was in high school, and then college it was crazy.
See,
And then now it's just
it's similar. Adderall I
yeah.
didn't hear about until college, and then it was like, okay, well, if cocaine wasn't around, there might be some Adderall being sniffed in the meantime, right? It was like a party drug. Like, yeah, I guess some people got prescribed it, but the prescriptions were few and far between, and I don't really know what they were for.
prescriptions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that was before, obviously a little bit older. That was before the whole prescription chaos that happened, which I feel was
dude.
more like early 2000s, maybe super late 90s, early 2000s.
Not quite the opioid point in time yet, where everyone's just dropping
right.
like flies now.
Right, when the doctors and there's been movies about it, right? Like Dope Sick, I think, was one, which was a Hulu movie or a Peacock movie, one of the two.
My Name is Earl has a really sad ending where that's how it
My
turns
Name
out.
is
It's all
Earl.
A dream.
I never-
all a dream. All a dream.
Is that what it was? Is that how they ended that show?
No, it had like a decent. It wasn't like How I Met Your Mother, where it infuriated everybody at the end there. And I realized I wasted years of my life watching that show.
Yeah, that was
There's no
one I
bitterness.
never got into.
There's no bitterness.
Never got into that one. My Name is Earl. I watched for a little bit because I love Jason Lee. He was so good in.
It was a fun show. It was like I think it ended fine. I don't think it was like a crazy evil ending.
It wasn't the Jason Lee I was expecting, right? Because I loved him in the Kevin Smith universe, right? The View Askew. And I loved him in all of those movies, primarily Mallrats, where he was an American treasure in that fucking movie. And then My Name is Earl was like, oh shit, Jason Lee lost his fucking hair. I mean, he was in a bunch of other, and that show went on forever. People seemed to like it. It just didn't have the punch that I really liked from him in the other Kevin Smith vehicles. So
yeah.
But for whatever, it went on forever. I just don't know how it ended because I watched it for a little bit.
It was good. I don't remember the ending either. I just remember I had fun with it. It was a fun show. It was one that we had on TBS every night when we're just eating food.
Oh yeah.
But it was
well, I remember it on
TBS.
ABC in its first run. That's right. It was in syndication for a little bit after that.
Yeah, dude.
That was one of those quick
is like how
syndications.
TBS is how I was introduced to every show that was ever popular in the early 2000s and late 90s, and God knows what's happened to it and the rest of cable now, even though they basically exist through every form of streaming service.
Well, that's the fucking worst part about this is that they're doing away with cable because they're just killing it, but the new model doesn't work. It doesn't work the same way.
No.
The old cable model was great. You paid X amount of dollars a month and you got all of this brand new, all in one place content And then you paid a little bit extra for an HBO, and that's where you got your movies that just came out, or Showtime, or whatever it was. And now this new approach fucking sucks. That it is straight fucking duty.
What are you talking about? You don't enjoy the 80 different Netflix shows that are spin-offs of shows that were popular 10 years ago? That they bring back 2 actors for, and then they just phone in the rest of it? What are you talking about? And they cancel after 1 season?
I don't understand. Like, okay, so Netflix starts doing the Netflix thing, right? And you want to dial it all the way back. They start releasing DVDs at home. That's what it was, right? Because there was no, streaming shit.
Hold on. You got to turn the keys for the Wayback Machine.
Right? We got to go 88 gigawatts in the, or 80 miles an hour and whatever gigawatts in the DeLorean to go back in time. And so Netflix was DVDs, and then they said, okay, well, now it's got past that point, so now we're going to start, doing it all digitally. And then, the DVDs were still there, but, for the most part, they're like, we're going to stream all the shit. And, then all of a sudden, they're like, well, we're going to do our own original stuff. And at that point, I mean, the only thing that really kept Netflix afloat, from my understanding, and I am not a reporter, so
I was going to say, you mean them lying about their numbers and refusing to admit what they are?
But it was like, it was. I mean, for one of them was the Office, right? They got the Office, and the Office was like a huge high flyer, and they're doing
Friends.
Yeah. And then they're doing that same shit now with other shows. If you've read, Suits is like their number one show right now. And it's blowing the numbers up.
But Suits is most certainly only huge now because of the Meghan Markle thing. Like, right? Or is it an actual good show? I've never watched it.
I've never watched it. It was USA in its first run, and now and I think it was actually on Peacock previously, and now it's gotten, purchased by Netflix, who's buying up everybody else's Castaway shit. They're buying HBO shows now. Ballers is now going to be on Netflix.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Ew, great.
Yeah.
More Dwayne.
Yeah, you can't get enough of The Rock, right?
Dude.
What other IP could I steal and try to redo and put myself in the middle of it, right? Baywatch, that worked. That was a fucking disaster.
Oh, that's right, dude. He's had some... Were you the one that told me they're making a new San Andreas movie?
Yes, they are. I'm super excited so long as they have his daughter in it. And I forgot her name, but
Alexander Daddario, you watch her on this podcast. She's a sacred person.
Yes, she is. You want to talk about American treasures? She is one. Or at least, her bodily possessions are one. But he is trying to capture anything because everything that he does is just a fucking bomber row. It's like, here's a Dwayne movie, and it is.
Has he done anything major since Black Adam? I feel like that was the last big movie I've seen him in, and then he's been on like the down low. Besides, like, announcing he's going to be in the live-action Moana movie.
Oh, the live-action Moana movie. Are you kidding me? That's 8 years old, you fucking asshole.
I know, right? Did you see the announcement for it? It is the most... how would you put it?
Typical him. That's what it is.
He's in Hawaii. It's like when...
With a fucking Hawaiian shirt, if I'm not mistaken, right? Doesn't he have a Hawaiian shirt on?
You know when Bud Light realized they fucked up with like the Dylan Mulvaney thing, and now everyone's trying to destroy their brand.
What happened with Bud Light?
Bud Light. Remember how they had like that weird person on their can, and then their
that's right. Yeah, that little Bud Light thing.
And remember how their response immediately was like, "Okay, guys, we just got to make the complete opposite ad. We're going full." Back home, we like to make a real beer, an American beer. A conservative beer that believes in Kid Rock and Donald Trump.
And here's American flags and a pickup truck and a white person and a yellow person.
So hard to the other side. And that's what The Rock is doing with this Moana shit, where he's like, hey, I'm The Rock. I'm here with my 2 young daughters who love their dad. We love you, Daddy. And I'm going to be in a movie that you guys love. Do you remember Moana? That was a good movie. I was in that. Well, now we're making a live-action version of that. So please like me again. Like, that's what that ad was. It was the Clydesdales.
I don't have a means to pick this up quickly, but I'm going to try to pull this up in the background while we talk about it. But yeah, so you're saying Dwayne's Moana advertisement was basically the Clydesdale try to come from behind Bud Light Hail Mary.
Exactly. It's one of those like, okay, we got to overcorrect. We were one way. Now let's go the other way. It's like, hey, I'm just a family guy, you know. Here are my 2 daughters who love me. Aren't they adorable? You can't hate a guy who has daughters who love him like this. And I'm going to be in a movie that you love with your daughters or children.
That I was already in, but I'm going to redo it.
So like me again.
So
yes, the movie's 7 years old, but you know what? Like, move past it. Move past it.
It's just too soon. You see this with every one of these live-action redos, is that people just aren't into it. They just don't care. Beauty and the Beast, right? That was one that took place. And I don't know. I didn't think that one was that bad, but
that one was fine. That was one of the first ones. The Cinderella one was fine.
Cinderella I have not seen, but I know it didn't do what they thought it was going to do.
It's boring. Yeah, I mean, it's just, Cinderella's not a fun Disney movie.
Oh, here we go. Moana announcement. Let me dial this up here and see if I can get this going. All right, here we go. It's probably going to place.
Everyone from beautiful Hawaii.
He's not in a Hawaiian shirt. He's Hawaii down. He's with his daughters.
As you know, Hawaii means so much to my family and me, and the traditions of our ohana, or ainga, as we say in Samoa, were shaped by these incredible islands. The Pacific Islands and their cultures inspired a very special story, one that you all know.
Let me ask you this. When you think Dwayne Johnson, do you think, oh, he's a Hawaii aficionado? He's the guy that I want to go to for Hawaiian culture.
I mean, I'm trying to think of what I just think of meaty muzzlehead who's probably going to collapse in on himself like a dying star, like literally at some point. Like just one of those. I totally expect one day he's going to be walking down the red carpet having like some charismatic like response, and then he's just going to internally combust in front of some reporter because of the amount of steroids that he takes on a daily basis.
Oh, he doesn't do steroids. He's just naturally big, Will.
He just happens to be twice the size he was when he was my age. Yeah.
He just has so much money. He just has all this time to spend in the gyms.
Yeah. He's just hanging out, man. He's just hanging out.
If you were talking about WWE wrestling, sure. If you were talking about how to make a monstrous career with no talent in Hollywood, sure. But Hawaiian culture, not my first thing. That
you are also describing like a shocking amount of Hollywood right now. But
yeah, it's true.
Here we go.
All right, well, back to the commercial.
Very well, and that story is, drum roll, please.
Oh, he had his kids say it. See what he did there, Will? Oh, the kids love it.
That's so great.
They fucking love Moana.
My kids want to watch this.
And you know why the kids love it? Because his kids were the ones that shouted out. They're not even looking at him. They're like playing in the fucking sand. They're like, whatever, Dad, fucking toting us around. We just wanted to fucking go and play with our goddamn iPads.
Yeah. We are so excited and happy to announce that a live-action reimagining of Moana is in the works.
How are you going to reimagine? How are you going to reimagine Moana? Fucking reimagine.
They're going to make it look worse. That's how they're going to do it. Did you see the dude? Have you seen?
Nobody wants it reimagined. They just want to watch the old one.
Bro, did we talk about the live action Little Mermaid?
We have bits and pieces. I have not seen it. I have no interest. It's on Disney Plus now. Have you watched it?
It's bad.
Oh, you actually made the jump, huh?
It's bad. Well, I mean, I was like. Listen, I've had some time while I was just writing my paper this last week for this last thing, and so I was like, I'll just take a couple quick peeks here. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got like halfway through. It's just like the movie cost like $500 million. They're saying
it was something a lot. You're factoring all.
I don't know where that money went. It is so obvious the whole thing, and the whole thing was shot on a green screen, of course, but it's so obviously apparent, if that makes sense. Like it takes you out of it.
I know what you mean.
I know, but there's I have not seen a movie that has just taken me out of it that hard, where you just see what's clearly an actor just hanging around the entire time, trying to
Because they're not in anything other than green screens, right? I mean,
well, exactly. Well, the weird thing is they have Javier Bardem, like that one really good actor
Who
from
is he?
He's the Latino actor from like No Country for Old Men, I believe.
it's still another a movie that was great at the time. I don't know if it's stuck, but I've never seen that one either.
But he's like an awesome actor. And it's crazy because he's clearly the only one who can act in the movie trying his hardest. And then you just got whoever the hell the girl is who's playing Ariel.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
But I want to be above C, da-da. And you're just like, this is really uncomfortable. Like, I don't remember the original one making me feel this awkward.
Well, we talked about this one because if you remember, people lost their fucking mind that it wasn't a white mermaid, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, look, guys, just fucking do the stories the way that you wrote them originally. But who cares? You want to flip them. We also said that it's not really the big deal that you change the race of the mermaid. The problem with all these movies isn't, I mean, people are getting very upset, and me, I just don't like it because I think if you write a fucking story one way, just tell that same story the same way. You don't have to change everything to check boxes. Like, just make
I don't even think...
Make a new story with whatever, characters that you want, but just leave the old stories the way they were because it's already in the past.
But
and that's going to come up with something else later that we'll talk about.
Who is asking for the movies to be done? Like, there's got to be one guy, right, who's behind all of these live-action movies.
Well,
like this. Like, think about it. There are as many Disney live actions.
We saw in She-Hulk. It's a fucking computer that's just sitting in the halls of Disney.
Exactly, dude. Like, all the movies that are coming out now are either Disney live action or Disney superhero movies. I feel like and then occasionally you'll get a Flash, which just bombs in the theater.
Well,
I mean, we had Oppenheimer, which was fun.
I still haven't seen it. I will, but when I do, we can go back. And, you saw Barbie?
I've not seen it. I want to see it. I want to see it.
I was about to say you saw Barbie.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Oh my god!
I'd have the trifecta. I also saw Mission Impossible. That movie was not as good as the last one.
Yeah, that was another one. Well, we'll get to all these little
one-offs we got a lot.
Here.
We got a
lot. But to your point about who's asking for the live action, I just think that what happened. Everything's exponential over time, right? So, you get one streaming service like Netflix, and then that turns into 12 streaming services because they start seeing what Netflix is doing, and they're like, oh, shit, well, we already own content, and so why don't you pay us for the content directly, and we'll just do the same thing Netflix did. So Netflix led to everything else, and now it's a fucking disaster, right?
And then Bob Iger is screaming at you, do you see how much money I spent on Star Wars? Do you see the money I spent on Star Wars?
They made it back, though. They should shut up. They're pissing all over the IP, which sucks.
I mean, yeah, they are ruining it.
They're doing a terrible job. But anyway, to go back to just extremes.
At least they have Indiana Jones.
That's right. That one fucking worked out well. That was another goddamn fucking disaster. Another IP slowly grinding to.
Yeah. See this fleshly turd grave that had Indiana Jones's body lying in it? Right. What if we dug this up one more time and just have fun with it?
Ground out to irrelevance is what happened.
Make him dance like a puppet. We love it.
So, as theaters and production companies and studios started pumping out more stories, because remember the movies back in like the 60s, 50s, like there was a couple. Everybody saw them, right? Like you grew up, oh, did you see Apocalypse Now? Oh, you got to see Apocalypse Now, Marvin Brando, like I insert movie here. But the inventory was infinitely smaller. Right? I mean, you could do crazy shit with horror movies because it was like they didn't exist. So you make up Jason and Friday the 13th and that becomes popular. You make up Freddy, it becomes popular. Now, leap forward fucking 40 years, all these stories have been done that I think they just run out of shit. They
Bro,
run out of shit.
Did I tell you what my final paper was on for my MBA?
No.
Okay, so it literally relates.
Hold on.
It literally relates directly to this shit.
Okay.
So it was for Netflix's new development compound they're making in New Jersey.
Yes.
So
I did not know that, but good for Jersey. Fucking give us the money.
They got some new tax break or something. They're spending almost $1 billion on developing these new studios in Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, and so we were like taking a look at them. But their goal with these new studios is to develop 60 new TV shows / movies a year to keep pace with Disney, Paramount, and etc. And so you're hearing that, and like you're talking to your guys who are like your consiglieres or whatever for for your appointments at Netflix. And at one point, like, so we're doing our final presentation yesterday, and at one point, like, we bring up the shows that Netflix makes and how much money they make with them, and the guy goes, "Yeah, I mean, like, I understand how you're trying to calculate what the money you'll make off the shows here, and that's probably the best bet we're going to get because, to be honest, Netflix has never even revealed to us how much money any of their shows make. They are highly secretive about that, and they're never going to release it to anybody." And it's like, because it's probably not great.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
They're probably lying to shareholders.
This is another one that we talked about all the way back in our UBS days.
Yeah, dude, it was all the way back then.
That was like 7-8 years ago, and it was like, look, here's the thing about here's the part about Netflix that nobody wants to say out loud, right? The quiet part is they're not making fucking money.
Yeah.
They're just bleeding money. But the reason they got away with it was because this actually ties into the economy and shit that's actually still tangible right now, is that they just, I mean, money is free. You want a loan, you're a big company, you go to a bank, and then they just give it to you. There's lines of credit everywhere for all these big companies, and so they can just keep burning cash because every time they burn it all, they just go out and get another loan. I mean, it's free money. There's no interest. You don't have to have a return. And so, these companies were built like shit, and they're not producing anything. But for whatever reason, and this is the part that's crazy, Will, is that it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
And it never will.
It's got to. You've got to pay the piper. You've got to pay the piper sometime. You have to make stuff that makes money. You can't just make shit for we make stuff for free, right?
Yeah.
We make content for free. We don't get paid for it. It's just something that we love to do.
We have fun making fun of other people.
Fuck yeah!
That's important. That's the important part. Yeah.
Fuck yeah! That's what it's all about.
Suck it, Netflix. Yeah.
But we couldn't do this if we were fucking Disney, because we turn around and been like, well, we don't make any money doing it. And then they've been like, oh, well, I mean, we have to. Like, we got shareholders and shit. We got to have a return on investment. Like, that's what this is all about. Profit. It's like fucking South Park and the underwear gnomes, right? Part A, get underpants. C, profit, right?
C, profit.
And these companies, they've got A down real good, and they've got no C. They do have profit, but Netflix, I think, has been red forever. Anyway, back to what we're talking about is I just think that they've lost ideas. I don't think that they can come up with anything original anymore because every trick in the book has been used, right? They buy fucking piles and piles of scripts and then just shelve them. And then they take them off the shelf and they cut out this little piece and they paste it with this little piece and they try to come up with something new.
Yeah, which is so crazy interesting to me that it's just like you're making so much. I've met how many shows assuming that in this one studio, if they do make 60 a year, how many Netflix shows am I actually tuning into that are brand new? Like, I personally don't watch. I barely watch any. I know some people are really good, but there's this new show I checked out. It was fine. It was good.
I spent 20 minutes trying to find a show on Netflix. I never do, and then I turn on DirecTV Stream, and I just watch the fucking same 5 movies that are on every channel.
Exactly. Dude, that's what I do. And it's like, I'm assuming I'm maybe the average. Like, maybe it's like, we'll put it 50-50. Some people do watch some of the new content, but they feel nothing about it. But, they're not recommending those shows to me. The other 50% that they watched all 10 new shows Netflix pumped out. They don't tell me about any of them unless it's like a Stranger Things or some shit.
Right. Well, the what do you call? My father-in-law watches so much TV. So much TV that he has cooked through all these shows. He's watched almost everything to the point that he's now picking up random Netflix and Prime shows.
He's ones getting really that are anime. Yeah.
No, not yet, but that's next. No, he does all the foreign shows that are in foreign languages.
Rich, have you seen Dragon Ball Z? It's pretty tight. Over 1,000 episodes. But
Such a great show. It's anime, but they throw balls,
I don't get it, but like the Japanese, they're into some wild shit, Rich. Like, damn, never saw that coming.
And I think Mason, I think he was playing on his fucking Switch, and there was a Dragon Ball Z guy in his fucking Fortnite. I saw that. I know who that is.
They said Kamehameha, and I was like, damn,
yeah, that's what they screamed when he threw it, right?
Yeah.
I only know that from Fortnite, right? So
I only know it because like it was really popular when I was 8 years old, but then there's this one friend of mine who's like way too into it. Like way too into it.
Yeah, you always get those people.
Yeah, you always get those people, and you're like, this is the franchise you've chosen to devote your life to? Okay. I mean, who am I to judge, I guess?
No, I'm with you.
Moana.
Hold on. We'll go back to this in a hot second. But I just think that they've run out of stuff to do.
Oh.
Matrix. I remember Matrix came out. People were just like, "This is fucking crazy." It's a new original story, kind of, and kind of, and all of the cinematography was different, and then it was like 3 Matrix later. It was like, all right, we're fucking done with this. This is the same goddamn thing over and over again.
What are you talking about? The 4th one wasn't great? You didn't love the 4th one?
The one that they just came out that went straight to HBO, right? Or
the one that upset everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were suing about it, right? Because they were saying...
I think so.
Yeah, they sued because I think they said it came out on HBO and it came out in the theaters at the same time, so the numbers were really low. And was it like Carrie-Anne Moss that sued fucking HBO or Time Warner for releasing it on both at the same time?
All I know is that it is crazy funny to me that both of the Matrix directors are now dudes, or are now women. Like, that is so fun. Because the one... Have you seen them recently? Like, the one did it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. The one did it. Like, they put the effort in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
And then the second one.
They look like a girl, kind of.
The second one looks like a character from Shrek. Like, it is preposterous. It is crazy. It is crazy.
Can't say those things anymore, Will.
Dude,
people don't like that stuff.
It's so crazy. Because the other
She's
one
a beautiful human being.
She clearly, and I'm respecting her pronouns, but it's so clear that, maybe the other one, maybe the other one's like, this is actually how I feel comfortable. And then maybe she was getting a little bit too much attention at the Christmas parties. And her then brother was getting real upset about that. So then 4 years later, he goes, you know what? Fuck you.
I'm going to be a fucking chick too, dick.
Yeah. There's this comedy
terrible
special.
Idea.
There's this comedy special by that Matt McCusker guy, but he had this one great line where he said, it's so much easier for, women to be trans than men. Like, if you really think about it, like if you're a woman and you want to be identified as a man, what do you have to do? You have to buy the ugliest flannel you can and just put it on.
Yeah.
Just say you're a dude. Boom, you're done. You get a bad haircut.
Chop them off, double vasectomy or whatever.
Not even.
Vasectomy,
vasectomy
is a dude.
You put on a lumberjack's flannel and you are sold. You tell people you're a dude with your bowl cut haircut.
Yeah, you do your bowl, you chop your hair off.
Look at Elliot Page. Sold.
That's right.
If you're a dude.
It's not Elliot Page. Or is it still Elliot Page? But she's
I think it's Elliot, right?
I don't know.
It was Ellen. It was Ellen Page.
Oh, it was Ellen Page. Now it's Elliot Page. Okay.
But if you're a dude and you want to switch, like, step 1. Damn. It's hardcore.
Chop them off! They're not coming back. And then let's do Tuckaroo. So, anyway, they just don't come up with anything new. And so they just redo IP, and they just keep trying to go back to already self-built fucking fanboys and girls that will pay this junk money to watch these redone movies. And so that's why you just get, I don't know, to answer your question, who the fucking bigwig is at Disney. I think it really, remember in She-Hulk, they did Kevin Feige as a computer that made all the decisions.
Which is funny, yeah.
Which is pretty funny. And that basically feels like what's being done at Disney right now.
It does. There's some AI algorithm they're using that's awful.
Yep, that they're just like woke everything, make everybody trans or non-binary, make nobody a white male, and have boys and boys kiss and girls kiss and throw this down everybody's throat. And, look, I am not a fan of this crazy liberal push that's going on throughout society right now.
Much.
It's just too much for me. But I'm not also. I like a good conspiracy, but I'm not nuts. I don't
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Yeah.
You want to go to the level of Disney is trying to indoctrinate. Did I say that right? Finally,
You got indoctrinate.
indoctrinate like the youth with gay thoughts and trans thoughts and all these other thoughts.
That's like,
And like I say no, that's fucking nuts. Like you have to have board meeting and been like, oh no, we want to make it we want to make kids gay, so we're gonna put gay shit all in our movies.
okay.
Like that's a little
That
much.
is, like, I would love to watch that movie though. Of a board like, how are we gonna turn the children gay?
That's a comedy.
See,
That's a
that's
fucking
a
comedy,
great movie,
right?
Disney, write this down. I'm doing your job for you right now.
Yeah, but then I watch the product and I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
maybe they are having those meetings. Maybe the people are right. Because it is fucking like everything. It's like they have to put it in. So anyway, I don't know. Let's go back to The Rock. Really struggling here to get you excited for Moana.
The music, the dance, Tafiti, Pua the pig.
Oh
the
my God,
village,
that's right. We were
the
watching
beautiful,
this video
powerful
still.
ocean, and one more.
That's right.
What's that, guys? Oh, yours truly. Hey, hey, the chicken. Kidding. Hey, hey's going to be in it, but of course, Maui will be in it too.
Oh, there it is. You know who's going to be in it that you're super excited about? I'm going to reference I'm going to go A, but then I'm going to give you B. And so I'm going to give you Hey Hey the Chicken. But really what I'm talking about is me. You want to see me, and more of fucking me.
I can't wait to see him just done in CGI again, just like the Scorpion King when they make him do Maui's moves. That's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun.
Fucking asshole.
God.
What else you got
Many
for
of
us,
you
Rock?
may not know, the brilliant team at Disney Animation, my partners, we found so much inspiration for Maui in the mana and the presence of my late grandfather, the legendary High Chief Peter Maivia.
Ah, there it is. Me. Now, if you're not done sucking me off, go suck my fucking, go suck my grandfather off. Also a wrestler. We saw.
I totally understand, like, wanting to represent your culture and where you came from, but this isn't about that.
No, it's not.
This is about, like, damn, I made a whoopsie in my career. I better make a lateral move and pretend that this is what I'm really trying to do.
And what's amazing is that he does this announcement video and he's just fucking pumping his own brand. And the Mavias, when did the Mavias and the Johnson family become the goddamn authority in Hawaiian culture? Like, talk about something other than yourself.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
as a Hawaiian man myself, which I can say because no one's seen me on this podcast.
Yeah, you're very Hawaiian.
I can easily say I do not appreciate him, taking over my culture. Get the fuck out of here, Dwayne. But it is weird. It is weird when people just, like, they identify really heavily with something that has, it's had an impact on their life, but they haven't really lived that life.
This guy fucking, come on.
Yeah.
He was a University of Miami footballer, and then he went to WWE, and he wasn't grinding it out in fucking Hawaii, doing whatever it is they do out in Hawaii. I don't know. I've never been
Surfing.
there.
I don't know.
Surfing, hanging out.
Bad to say? I don't know. I imagine it's true.
Starting fires in the fucking wildwoods.
Oh, dude.
Oh, too soon. Fucking.
Too soon.
Sorry.
Boo.
I know, 100 people died, the whole 9 yards. I feel terrible story.
That stuff was wild. That stuff is wild. I don't even know. Oof.
Yeah, well, anyway, The Rock's going to be out there, putting all those houses back together because
he's going to do it himself as Maui with his hook.
That's fucking
very
right.
excited for that scene. That's going to be the post-credit scene of the show. Oh, it's going to be great.
Imagine if this fucking asshole dressed up like Maui and went to the fucking island. It was like, oh, Maui is here to help save the day.
What can I say except you're welcome when your home's burned to the ground? What can I say except you're welcome? Gonna steal your culture to be found. You're welcome. You're welcome. God, it is going to be so fun seeing that movie, but worse. I watched it the first time was because the animation was really good.
I know.
But now they're going to get rid of that whole part.
No,
which is like
the SFX is going to be great now.
Oh, it's going to be, because they definitely solved it for Little Mermaid, which was, also about the fucking ocean.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
that's right. Little Mermaid also. SFX in the ocean, not good.
Whoopsie.
All right, hold on a second. Let's go back. We're 1 minute through a 2-minute clip here, and we're
Fuck, dude. Damn.
40 minutes into the podcast.
He would walk in, light up the room, the energy, the tattoos, the hair.
Yeah, the
vibe.
tattoos.
When you're staring at a demigod, thank you. Sorry, I get caught up in the moment.
Of course you do.
It's so
Your show.
Timing as the sun comes
Kids
out,
are
just
playing
how
in the
deep
sand.
This story is for me.
I think the one
It's
girl's
so
eating the
corporate how
sand.
he's doing it. It's so weird. He's usually so charismatic. Like, you figure he would do it a fun way.
My grandfather.
This fucking guy would
Still very
incorporate
early in the
himself
process.
if he
There's
could.
So much more work to be done, but
Do you
until
want to
Oh,
buy
easily.
there's
fucking
one
stock
more
in
thing
Dwayne
that I
Johnson?
need to kick this journey off right. Hey girls, you want to get that special thing that Daddy needs? Wow. You
Oh,
guys are
not
Daddy's
get your
daughters.
hands
You
out
are
of his
so
pants.
strong.
Jesus
Thank you
Christ.
guys
Oh
so
my
much.
God.
We're gonna go in the ocean. Yes. Oh, look at the love I have.
God,
it's
imagine
a-
Daddy
being.
Maui.
It's a Maui hook.
I mean, to be
You guys
fair,
want ice cream?
I will give him some credit.
See,
He
so
definitely got this
Daddy's Maui.
vacation paid for by, by Disney. So that's pretty nice.
Oh, that was the end. It said 2 minutes, but that was the end of it. So, yeah, there you go. So that was the big fucking announcement. Him and his goddamn daughters fucking, giving
It's just
us.
weird. It's weird to bring your kids into it like that, right? Like, is that
Dude, not
just-
only bringing it into it, but bringing it into it, and they have no interest whatsoever in what you're doing.
It's like, all right, kids. On when we say your mark, you say staring at a demigod. Okay, 1, 2, 3. No, Elena. No, on 3. On 3, you say.
God,
it.
you fucking stupid bitch. Oh, whoops. I mean, seriously, they were sitting there playing and eating sand and, fucking diddling with their hair. And it's just enough. They had nothing to do with it. It was just fucking bringing his kids out to be a prop.
Yeah,
because
it's
it's the
weird.
family fucking fun. Okay, whatever.
Just a family movie.
It's a family movie. A family movie.
Won't someone please think of the children?
Yeah, all right. Break point here. I got to get my kids. I just got to tell them to go into their beds right quick. So we will we'll be back in literally no time flat
Let's
for
do
you. For us, we got to take a quick
First-
pause. And we're back.
And we're back.
So no time flat for you guys, and we were just talking about Disney and Moana and the disasters that their live-action movies are, and we touched upon a couple of things. One, if you're going to make these movies, stop redoing IP and just make your own new movies instead of redoing them and changing everything. Well, that's not going to stop
I've got a
Disney.
way better idea. What if we remade it again?
Oh!
Yeah, there we
There it
go.
is.
Now we're talking, boys.
Let's not stop. So we'll continue on this thread here as one of the newer stories that has popped up. And Will, you know the girl's name better than I do. But
Yeah.
the disaster coming down the pike in 2024, which
First
is
off,
going to be.
she's my hero. Let's be perfectly clear about this.
And if you don't know who we're talking about, it will be the whatever the actress's name that is playing Snow White and the Seven Magical Creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't even know, is that going to be the name of the company? It probably just been the company movie. It'll probably just be Snow White, right? That's what they're going to call it. It's just Snow White. They're not going to
It's
call
just
it
Snow White now.
and-
It's just Snow White. It's just Snow
Right,
White.
that's it.
Get over it. Get over yourself. Come on.
So because they're not going to call it Snow White and the Seven Magical Creatures, that's a disaster. That's death to the movie before it even begins. Even though that is in the movie, but yes. So Snow White is coming at us next year, and the actress, her name is
Rachel Zegler.
Rachel
And
Zegler.
She's my hero, and she is my hero.
And she can't shut her mouth, and Will can't get enough of it, nor can everybody.
I kind of love her.
She is an American treasure, much like all the other people that we've talked about so
She
far.
is a goddamn American legend, is what she is. She has been getting into a little bit of trouble. So apparently these interviews are like over the last couple months I was seeing, and then because the writer's strike are like drying up all the content wells, now
there's
everyone's
nothing
starting
left.
to look into them, which is crazy because like half of this podcast, I'd say 80% of this podcast is about how bad TV shows and movies are recently. And
Yes,
then it's,
it is. And hold
yeah.
on one second as my youngest son has come to join in. Even though I stopped the podcast, so this didn't happen. How can we help you there, Mason? Your device what? This is terrible podcasting. This is podcasting how not to do a podcast. Nobody wants to hear me talk to my son in the frickin' basement.
It's not that bad. I mean, we could have Rachel Zegler on, who's torching her movie.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we're torching a podcast right now. Your device is done? Yeah. Okay, so just watch TV upstairs in your room. And now he's going to come down here and hang out on the pod. So, everybody, we're just going to have to take a break. This is how real-life podcasting works for non-paid people. And we'll be right back.
Yeah, Joe Rogan hasn't got shit on this.
Nothing. And we're back again after my phenomenal fucking parent job here. Well, my wife is out. She's hanging out. She never goes out. She's out with a friend. And I've got my 2 old 8 and 4, 12 and 8-year-old.
She pieced out. She could smell it tonight was brewing.
She knew it was a disaster, so she got out of Dodge. Good for her. Yeah. So anyway, who is not getting out of Dodge is your girl Snow White.
Rachel Zegler. Oh, I love her.
Because she can't shut up.
I mean, the interviews are so fun to watch because it's literally just, I have to imagine, I mean, she's 22, so if she went to college, she's fresh out, but she's in like that age of just like the most insufferable a person can be.
She's crazy insufferable.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like she's talking about all these things about, she's talking about the writer's strike and how much money she deserves. And it's like, you're 22 and have been in like 4 mega blockbusters, probably making more money than over 99% of those people on that picket line put together right now.
It's nuts.
And then she's just shitting on the 1938 version of Snow White. She's like, the movie has really dated ideas. You're just going,
she cannot shut up enough.
It's so fun. And the old Snow White movie was like, I feel like Snow White wasn't really even that major of a character. Like, it was really the dwarves movie I haven't seen it.
Yeah, what did Snow White bring to it? Like nothing.
She was there, she hung out with the dwarves, and then like the dwarves become the main character, and they kill the evil witch, which pretty hardcore. And then the prince appears at the very end, but she's turned into this whole like back in 2016 when it's like, the whole feminist thing first started. She's turning into one of those moments. You're like, girl, where have you been for that's like almost 10 years? Yeah, this has happened.
I don't understand why. Number one, that Disney has given the approval for her to come out and basically fucking Bud Light the original content. Like, to come out and say, oh, yeah, well, the original movie was about a guy who was stalking Snow White. A little weird, yeah, so we're not doing that. Like, what? Like, says who? Like, what are you talking about? The original story's weird?
I love
nobody
that.
Really thinks that.
I love that Gal Gadot is right next to her talking shit because Gal Gadot is just... Like, I'm just going to say, like, Gal Gadot has a career because she is insanely hot. And
she's a terrible actress. She's awful.
Terrible actress. Like, if it weren't for the fact that, like, the first Wonder Woman movie was good, but, like, her accent throws you off, and then you see her in anything else, and you just go, oh, you just got real lucky. Damn. Fuck.
I can't find the most recent one, but here, I'll turn up.
And she's a part of the tribe, so I have to love her.
Is she? Oh, Gail Gadot. Yeah, right. Let's see. I got this one here. This is Variety. This is 11 months ago. Let's see if this gets commercialed. Of course it does. You want any Cereva, whatever. Skip those ads. Fuck that shit.
When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Why were you crying?
Oh my gosh! I saw well, I didn't even.
This is the D23 Expo.
I didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, "That's my name, Snow White's up there," and I cried my eyes out.
What was it like seeing yourself for the
so
first
did we all.
time in full Snow White drag?
I love that description. It's perfect.
Snow White drag.
Well,
of course you would.
Sandy Powell, first of all, insane. And then you get
Team
to
Liberal.
Lit by Mandy Walker, and Nadia Stacey designed your hair and makeup. It's like the most incredible thing in the world. And then all of a sudden you open your eyes and you watch the playback, which I never do. And I saw myself on screen and I just wanted to throw up. I was so happy about it.
Gail Gadot just smiling for no reason.
Experience. And the fan reaction was insane. We didn't even see what they were clapping for. I think it was good. I don't know.
Sizzle. We didn't see anything. Yeah. We're still waiting.
Can you feel the interest being sucked out of the room?
You're
this is going to be great.
But you're not evil.
What was it like seeing yourself as the evil queen for the first time?
Oh, she's being the evil queen in this movie?
Yeah, she's the evil queen. Which, like, if you remember, the evil queen's like gone after the first 3 seconds.
But when I was in makeup, just like
she's
said,
just doing
we got
this
to work with
accent
such an
as the
amazing
evil
People are
queen.
getting really
it
weird
was
with
just
it, though.
like the best it could ever be. I must say that for me, also
Does
the
she?
transition
Can she
for
get rid of the
old
accent
hag
ever, or we
was
just
No.
accept it?
incredible
No,
because
she's
it
never
was
gonna
all
try
real
it.
prosthetics and all of that. And
Why would you
4
try at
hours
this point?
and changing the voice and everything. I feel so lucky that I
Oh,
got
they
Changing
got
the voice,
Greta-
just not the
so
accent.
Far from what I'm,
They
what
had
I
Greta
know and what I'm
Gerwig
used to,
supposedly write this,
and
but I doubt it was just her.
super enjoyed every second of it.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage.
Oh,
What
here
do
we
you
go,
mean by
modern.
that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937.
Ooh,
And
there it
we
is.
absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
Not going to be
yeah.
saved
Yeah.
by the prince.
She's not going to
Ooh.
be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about
Fuck
true
the
love.
prince, because we hate
Yeah.
men, and fuck that shit. She's going to be saved by the evil queen, who's then going to be turned into her lover, and the two of them are
Bro.
going to live a lesbian have a lesbian
Yo,
love
dude,
affair.
you gotta
and
watch
be
it because I
happily
think
ever
you
after.
might be onto something.
I mean, that's what it.
That was what happened to Maleficent, dude. Did you
Oh
watch
no, I did not
Maleficent?
watch Maleficent, so I
That's
do
what
not
happened
know.
to Maleficent. They turned Maleficent into the good guy, and then she saves Sleeping Beauty from her own dad, who turns to be the villain.
Right. Well, what about this? They make Prince Charming actually the evil witch, and then the evil witch becomes a beautiful girl, and then she breaks out of her spell, and they fall in love, and Prince Charming becomes the evil fucking witch, and they kill her off. And Snow White and the random whatever the Prince Charming was, it turned into a girl. I could see it happening.
She's
This is
dreaming
gonna be
about
phenomenal.
becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she
You
could
love
be
women
if she
power.
was
She can
fearless,
be.
fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. I am.
She loves herself. Holy fuck.
I mean, dude, you're 22 years old. Like, your career is fucking thriving. You're probably thinking you're right about everything because everyone's just sucking your dick because they think you're the next big up-and-coming actress. It also blows my mind that, like, Gal Gadot is towering over her. Rachel Zegler's got to be, like, 4'11" or something, right?
I would think so, because she is really short, and Gal Gadot is not a colossal, right? I mean, she's taller, but that's probably like 5'7",
Says she's
5'8".
5'10". Says she's 5'10",
okay.
but who knows? I mean, who
But
knows
that's
if
gonna
true.
make Snow White like 5'3", 5'2". She's probably like my wife's height.
She's 5'2".
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see. Oh, come on, damn it. I want to see if I can get this other clip. This is another one off of YouTube. I think this is the most recent one. And let's see. Let's pot this up. Sky News.
Sky
Oh, here we
News.
go. Let's see.
Even the
I mean,
Brits.
the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big
Evidently
focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Is that-
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Fuck Prince Charming.
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Andrew Burnap, great dude.
He's the bad guy.
It's one of those
He's
things
gotta
that
be the
I
bad
think
guy.
everyone's gonna have
He's
their
gotta
assumptions
be.
about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024.
I mean, fuck it. It's not the original content or
All of Andrew's
anything.
scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
We might just remove him from the movie.
Fucking give me a break. Holy shit.
Why do we need him?
That's their idea of being original, is taking old IP and then just taking a flamethrower to it and just chopping the shit up.
It's so crazy. It must be working for them because they keep churning these out like an insane rate, dude.
They
Like-
don't stop. It is an unstoppable train. Don't stand in
Aren't
front
they
of it.
almost out? Like, I mean, they got to make a Hercules movie still. That was my favorite Disney movie. They ruined Lion King.
Lion King,
What else do
yeah.
they
I
have?
mean, they tried to salvage it by shoulder tapping Favreau, but
Yeah, he did. I mean, okay, they shoulder tapped Favreau, but like,
he did a Herculean lift. It didn't work.
I was going to say, listen, you got Jon Favreau there. It is a director by committee. Like, he is one dude whose face is going to be on the movie. And in reality, there is like 80 Disney execs breathing down his neck, being like, you're going to do this to the movie, right? You're going to make sure you do this to this movie? You better do this to this movie.
Which is why he probably pulled the fuck out of Mandalorian, even though his name is still on it and he's doing all the pictures.
My theory is he only got to do Mandalorian because he did Lion King for them.
Right. It was like a one for one. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we'll let you do this, you do that. And then they saw that it was successful, like, and they just rubbing their hands looking at this new IP they can ruin together.
And then they they probably started talking to him and they were like, hey, we want you to make Mando gay. And he was like, it's not about that, so I'm not going to do that.
You know that Grogu Baby Yoda thing you made? It turns out it's really popular. Yeah. Did you see that? That was actually really interesting that made me respect him more. So when season 1 of Mandalorian was coming out, there was no Grogu merchandise because he was because it was such a smaller project and he was so hard ass about making sure that it didn't get out there was going to be a Baby Yoda.
Oh no, I didn't. But good for him.
Yeah, and it fucking worked. But Disney was like, we lost so much money because we weren't able to release things.
Well, I do remember
early.
that story. I never heard the story as to why they didn't have it. I did hear the story about how they were just rushing to get shit out because that was around Christmas time, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly, yeah, and they were fucking pissed when it turned out to be a hit.
Yeah, because, that was the original Star Wars, lightning in a bottle story was, Lucas did it for the toys, and the toys rocket ship out of here.
Dude, that Toys That Made Us special, still one of the best.
Oh yeah, that one where they talked about everything in that one, the Malian, Boba Fett, and all the other tangible products that came along with that. The die-cast action figures, when they just started making random shit up, and they just and I remember those toys that they weren't in the movie, and you were like, "What the hell is this?" And they were like, "We just had to make shit, we just had to make product to fucking."
That was my favorite part about those ones, though, like the Barbie one, where you're finding out the guy who made Barbies is giant cokehead. And
I don't think I saw the
war
Barbie
about
one.
who made the Barbie one, dude. Fuck the actual Barbie movie. I would watch that again, just the documentary about how the Barbie doll got made and the cutthroat nature of those women in their pink suits behind the scenes.
Well, to go back to our Netflix conversation in that thread, that Netflix, one of the things that they do probably better than anybody else is put out a large volume of documentary series and movies that are very good and entertaining.
Yeah.
They do docs really good.
I mean, that's my favorite thing to watch now, honestly. It's just docs at this point because they're quick. It's 3 to 4 episodes sometimes.
Yeah, or maybe a 2-hour movie or an hour and a half movie or something.
And they
got
to be so much cheaper to fucking make besides, whatever other bullshit is out there.
And all you got to do is really just scour the internet for all of the research, do interviews that are relevant. Maybe you pull out, an interesting tidbit that nobody's heard of, and people are just like, oh man, you have, instead of me going down a Google hole in my spare time, you've made it entertaining for 2 hours for me.
And some of them are just absolutely. There's this one on Netflix called "Don't Fuck with Cats," and the whole concept of it.
Heard about it? I don't know anything about it.
It's real. Okay. You mind if I ruin it for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're a viewer who's listening to this and wants to watch "Don't Fuck with Cats," which is a fun documentary, but the ending is different. I'm just going to ruin it right now. The whole concept, before I ruin the ending, is there's this psychopath on the internet who's addicted to attention. And he starts murdering cats horrifically in these videos to get more attention, to shock people.
Okay.
And these people on the internet say, "Don't fuck with cats like that." And he's like, "Oh yeah, what are you going to do about it?" And then the hook is that these Facebook detectives find out who he is and get him arrested because they're able to figure out who he is by using the internet. That's not what ends up happening. They do a little bit, but they're wrong. And it turns out what actually happened was the dude was a psychopath and he murders somebody. And then he's such a crazy person for attention. He basically tells the police where to find him. He's like, "I hope the police don't find me at 123 Fake Street and lock me up after murdering someone because I'm such a genius killer." And then the police go, "The fuck is this guy?" And then for some reason they turn it into the documentary they do. It's still a super interesting story.
Sounds it.
Yeah, but like the hook isn't there.
I bet that is good, right? Because that's what they do. That's good.
Yeah, that was good. The
Movies That
McMillions
Made
one was
Us,
great.
also awesome, right?
Yeah.
Go watch any of those. Great. Even their early stuff, like Food Inc., I think was one of them.
Yeah.
Where they just show you about like the chickens and shit, and they tell you about the food industry and how it's all corporate. And Tyson owns everything, or I think McDonald's owns everything, and it's just crazy when you watch
the McMillions documentary. I think that was HBO or somebody, but that was amazing.
Well, everybody then down the road starts doing the documentary thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's so much cheaper, dude.
So cheap, so easy. It's hard to fuck up, right? Because all you need to do is find some subject that's enough people have an interest in. And everybody's always had a conversation about any number of things that were in the 70s, 80s, 90s, pop culture or news feed, that you just got to find one that was like, oh, yeah, let's go into that. And you've seen them now. I mean, sports documentaries have always been popular, but they have gone through 8 million. I was a Magic Johnson fan. I thought, Magic was awesome. I didn't know much about his background. I just liked the way that he played basketball. There has been now, like, Magic versus Bird, Magic Johnson on himself, on Apple. Now there's Winning Time, which is fucking awesome,
They put out a documentary like I think it was this last week, that's like, I'm seeing everywhere now when I go on Netflix, of Depp versus Heard. Like, they made a documentary
about
Depp
versus Heard?
Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Remember when that took it by storm?
Yeah, I saw that was something that came
now
out.
That's over there. You're just like,
another one, and I think it's HBO. Sorry to cut you off. Is Kanye versus Kim?
I just saw that because I was looking at Max, and that made me think of it.
Kanye versus Kim. I mean, it can be like 3 months ago, and then all of a sudden that shit becomes a documentary, which you would think that same approach should work for comedy. And let me tell you, it has not. Comedy has dried up on Netflix specifically, but a lot of other ones.
For the most part.
It's like, not good.
90% of the comedians they put on there, some of them are good, but like, I've seen a bunch of the comics I love live. And like the energy there is phenomenal, but they cut out like their opening bits, which will relate to like current events, which are the funniest sometimes. And then for some reason, their other bits just are not landing, or they're just, I don't know what it is, man.
Dude, I have not finished it. Did you watch Mark Norman's new special?
I haven't even watched it yet. I've been saving it for like a decent day. Don't tell me it's bad.
Highly disappointed. Not bad. I'm just highly disappointed because I thought it was going to be like his rocket ship to fucking superstardom.
Yeah.
Because I think he is a phenomenal comic.
Same here.
And,
I've been getting a kick out of him for fucking years, dude. Like Tom Segura 2's another one, and then I watched half of his new one, and I was like, fuck, he's so good. And this one was so weak for some reason.
And Mark Norman is dirty, but he's like dirty in an intelligent way. Where,
like in a clever way.
Yeah.
He's not like, boobs and butts.
He's smart. Right? Like, so he said, like, he's not racist, but he can make the racial joke or the ethnic joke or the religious joke and, like, make it not be offensive, even though he's not of, ethnicity this or religion that. Like, he just does it funny the way that tons of people used to do it. You got to be able to make fun of anything if you're going to be a comedian, right? But nowadays...
dude. So, I mean, but on that note, I went to a live comic thing the other week when I was with my friend John, when he was here in the city with me. And like, this is exactly what we're talking about. It's like $20. We walk into this shitty place that's like a block away from the Comedy Cellar.
Sure.
There's all these like small comedians performing. And so we're sitting down and we're drinking some stuff. And some of the comedians pretty good, little dicey stuff here, pretty good, pretty solid. And then this one girl goes up on stage. And it was the wokest chick, dude, I've ever heard. Like, she was legitimately an NYU theater kid.
Oh,
Clearly didn't make it onto Broadway. No one was laughing at her jokes in this basement.
There's not a chance. There's no funny there.
She was so socially awkward. And then because she's half black, she's trying to make racial jokes, but then she's making privileged jokes. Yeah. But it's like the way she's making them, it's like, I wasted my life trying to be an actress. And he's like, this is weird.
Fuck off. Shut your face.
So there's no humor to it. It was so awkward. But then, the moment she leaves to like no applause, basically a mini Bill Burr gets on stage and does the Philly rant because he sees how cold the room is after she left.
He tried that shit?
No, it worked, dude.
It did?
It did. So he was like, because he was like, I'm not going on that stage fucking bombing. And he had like this heavy fucking like Bronx accent.
So he did it well? Because that's tough to pull off.
He was just good. He was just a good comedian.
Okay,
like he just fucking had it. And he's like, oh, don't you give me your fucking claps. Get the fuck out of here. You're fucking. He's like, oh, you're fucking.
Was he also like Massachusetts accent and all that?
Exactly. It was literally mini Bill Burr. And his closing bit was just like, you can't say gay anymore. Like, think about that. You can't say fucking gay. Like, that was what I said for lame my entire life, and they just took it away. Like, how can you just take a word away like that? That's fucking retarded. And then he just left the stage. And
thunderous applause. All right, so, like, was it original, though? Or you're like, okay, you're Bill Burr?
He had, like, the Bill Burr feel. But, like, here's the thing. He pulled it off. But
right.
Mark Norman is a guy who pulls it off. And so many comedians you see on Netflix are the ones, they're that theater kid girl who you're like, how did you get a spot here? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I can't take it. I can't take the new, modern version of comedy because it's devoid of comedy, right? I mean, it's just, you have to be able to say bad things in order for, to get the funny, if you ask me. Mark Norman, back to his special, just to wrap that up. Watch it yourself, see what you think. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I wasn't loving it, and I think the part about it that kind of, sat with me wrong was just like, I felt like he was holding back. I felt like he didn't want to go over the top like I watch on his Instagram feed and when he's doing live shows. And it bothered me because I was like, no, I don't, like, it's good, but it's not great. It's good, but it's not great. You ever see Brewster's Millions?
No.
Shit. It's with Richard Pryor, and he's this baseball player, and he inherits all this money, but he's got to spend all the money in order to get more money because that's the real prize. And so he hires this one girl who's an interior decorator, and she, he's spending all kinds of money on these rooms, and he walks in, and he was like, it's good, but I want great. This is not great. And it happens like 2 or 3 times. And then finally at the end, he's like, this is a room I could die in, right? And she's like, great, but you're broke, so get everything fucking out of here. And so it's the same thing. I was watching fucking Mark Norman, and I'm like, this is good, but it's not great. I want great. And it just, to me, it wasn't there. But maybe, you watch it.
I don't know what is it. Maybe it's the Netflix ones, dude. They're just not as, I don't know where the bite goes.
I
a little bit of it. It's so cleaned up now for some reason. Like Netflix just goes, we're not taking any. Like Tim Dillon, comedian I love. I like him and Tom Segura. I've seen 2 of their specials live. I was crying laughing at both of them. And then I see them on Netflix. And granted, I've heard the jokes before. Not as good. I don't know what happened.
I think that people are just scared because this is everybody's livelihood. Yeah. And before, you could be a comic and bomb and then just move on and do the next thing. But nowadays, it's like, you might not only bomb, but you might just piss off any one of 330 million people in the States that go off and shoulder tap, 20 million of their followers or people that they're connected to. And then it's the end, right? It's like you could get the Michael Richards treatment without even dropping N-bombs. You just say the wrong goddamn thing about the wrong person that you're like, I called her Tiffany. Her name was Tiffany.
That's got to be it. I mean,
also, Tiffany's fucking hate you. And so Tiffany did death to you from Tiffany.
You're a comedian. You're living in these shitty places for like the last 5 to 10 years of your life. So your career kind of starts taking off. You get one like super giant deal with Netflix and you go, am I really about to risk all this shit?
Right.
Just because I really like this one butt joke or something like that.
Yeah.
No, fuck it. Yeah.
And that's the part that's unfortunate. But, hey, we're hitting about an hour here, so why don't we punch out and get ready for the next one. We'll listen to this one, and thankfully I wasn't stoned for this one. So this one was a little bit more linear, although with us, the train goes off the track.
You say that, but like I can look back on both of them. The only thing I'll be like, oh, there's some pauses there, but they're both just as swervy as the other.
It works. So, and we'll pick up right where we left off, talking about something random and involved with Disney or Netflix or we haven't
writers'
touched
strike.
Right.
Maybe we'll just watch the writers complain on the writers' strike. That'll be my new thing. The people that are in the movies.
We're 2 weeks away from Ashoka, so that's gonna be
Fuck.
Get ready.
I'm not excited.
No, neither am I, but I am going to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it too. Oh, okay. Well, get us content. That'll be good.
All right. Well, away we go. Until next week. Peace out. Will I am. Enjoy yourself. Everybody else, thanks for listening. Peace out.
Bye.